Assalamu alaikum and welcome viewers to our channel Covenant News. I'm Faiza Israr.
This is Shamim.
Today we have with us Ambassador of European Union to Pakistan, Mr. Jean-Francois Caution. Mr. Caution has been serving European Union since 2001. He has a specialty in international cooperation and assistance to developing country and post-conflict situation and of course civil society. Welcome to our show, Your Excellency. My first question is, do you think that elections in England will affect the foreign policy as a whole of European Union?
I think you are referring to Brexit. Obviously, I cannot comment on the elections in the UK. That is internal, domestic affair of the UK. What we are at the EU side interested by is to have, as soon as possible, a government, obviously, to which we can relate and we can start negotiation on the Brexit. From the EU side, we have a very clear position on what we want to achieve on this negotiation between the UK and the EU. I would like to reiterate also that from the EU side, we are very sad, actually, that our British colleagues and the British people have decided actually to leave the EU. I think it's not a good news, neither for the EU nor for the UK, but it's a decision of the British people, so obviously we respect it. So now, I mean, the government of the UK has to enter into negotiation with the EU and to make the best from both sides of this Brexit. So let's see, I mean, we have in front of us still a little bit more than 18 months to negotiate how the UK will get out of the EU and what will be the future relationship between the EU and the UK.
UK has a great stance internationally. It's very acceptable. The saying, the comments coming from UK is very acceptable. So what do you think? Is that makes any difference if UK separated itself from EU?
I mean, the EU has its own common and security foreign policy, which is designed by the member states of the EU, and so for the time being by the 28 member states, still with the UK, because the UK is still fully part of the EU. In a little bit more than 18 months, it will be only by 27 member states. But I'm sure that on a number of files, a number of issues around the world, we will still have common objectives and common work with the UK to make sure that we bring more stability and peace around the planet.
So humanity is the fundamental and key policy to which the contemplation of EU came into being. What do you think, in your view, the upcoming policies regarding humanity and compassion in Pakistan?
I think one of the basic fundamental principles of the EU is solidarity. So I think it relates to your question. It is on solidarity that the EU has been built and is continued, to be built today. Solidarity among countries, solidarity among peoples. On this project, this solidarity, I would say, principle is something also that we are bringing outside the border of the EU. The EU and the member states of the EU are the largest donors around the world in terms of assistance. And part of it is coming to Pakistan. And obviously for us, what we want to bring to Pakistan is this European solidarity with funding, but also with how we have been building this solidarity in the EU. And make sure that, we can discuss with Pakistan and we can relate to Pakistan. We can learn from each other with Pakistan on a number of issues. We are with Pakistan facing the same issues now. A number of them were common issues. If you take the issue of fighting climate change, Pakistan is probably one of the worst affected countries in the world now with climate change, and will be, unfortunately, in the future. When we take terrorism, same thing. I mean, Pakistan has been affected over the last 2 decades by terrorism, and we have paid a very high price on that. The EU, we have been affected by terrorism, and we are still as well. So we have common objectives to work together. So I see, the work of the EU in Pakistan not only as a kind of EU giving something to Pakistan. I think for me it's a two-way. It's a two-way relationship where we have also to learn from Pakistan on some issue. We have to dialogue with Pakistan on a number of issues. And I think for the best of our relationship, but also to bring more stability
So there are
at
still
both
number
ends,
of
I would
issues
say, in
with
the EU, but
Pakistan.
also in Pakistan.
Since this government is in power, there are a number of initiatives government has taken up, like National Action Plan, and Ministry of Human Rights has taken some steps to protect human rights. So do you satisfy with these steps taken by the government of Pakistan?
I mean, I guess you are referring to the National Action Plan on Human Rights, because you have also your National Action Plan on counter-terrorism, which is another one, which maybe, if I may say a word on that one, on the one against terrorism, I think it's a good plan. We have seen how the government on the security forces has taken a number of actions to implement it. There are still work to do. I mean, it's also recognized by the government itself, especially when it comes to the prevention of terrorism, on how you can mainstream this prevention in different fields here in Pakistan. And it's one specific subjects where we are keen, actually. We are already working with Pakistan on that, but we are keen actually to strengthen our cooperation with Pakistan on the counter-violent extremism. I mean, all these kind of issues on a more, into brackets, soft side of fighting terrorism. And I think there is a lot of potential between the EU and Pakistan on that. Coming to the human rights side, I mean, we welcome obviously the fact that there is this National Action Plan on human rights. We welcome also the fact that the government has decided now since 2015 to make sure that the National Commission for Human Rights will be a fully independent body with independent administration and funding. I think that is a very positive development, because even if you have your National Action Plan on human rights, you have also to have an independent body who can monitor exactly how it is implemented and what is the benefits for the citizens of Pakistan. So that is welcome. We are obviously following very closely how human rights, it's part also of this agreement we have with Pakistan under what is known as GSP+, where we have provided to Pakistan this trade facility to enter the EU market with no taxes, no duty and no quota, but at the same time looking at Pakistan to improve the implementation on a number of international conventions, especially some of them being on human rights and on labor rights. So obviously we are closely looking at that, and we are also keen to work with the government of Pakistan, to work with the National Commission for Human Rights, to work with the National Commission for the Status of the Woman as well, to see how we can bring our contribution to that and to help Pakistan in improving the situation.
Talking about Pakistan, sir, the role of Pakistan internationally, and since you have expertise in international cooperation and assistance to developing countries, sir, the role of Pakistan and Pakistanis in the cases like Kashmir, what do you think? Pakistan has always become the voice of submissive. Does it play a positive role towards Pakistan?
I think on Kashmir, I know how the issue is close to the heart of many citizens of Pakistan. I mean, the position of the EU is very clear on that. I mean, we have been always in favor of promoting a dialogue between Pakistan and India. I mean, we feel that the issue can only be solved around a negotiating table, to which you have to associate as much as possible the people of Kashmir. So, I mean, it's only through dialogue. It's our experience in the EU. We have solved our long-standing conflicts between some of our countries However, you know, some conflicts have lasted for centuries in the EU. We have solved them around the negotiating table. We have solved them by dialogue. And I think it's the only option also for Kashmir to have Pakistan and India to sit and to dialogue around this issue, and also by bringing the people of Kashmir around the table.
How can you see that Indian stratton policy in Kashmir has always been voiced by the Pakistan internationally on all the platforms? What do you think? Isn't India is violating human rights and doing cruel practices in Kashmir, which can be considered terrorism in that area?
I mean, for us it's very clear, and it applies to any country in the world, including within the EU. If there are allegations of human rights violations, you should launch an inquiry. You should, obviously, countries should look at what is going on. There is no doubt for us on that, that if there are allegations of human rights, it should be inquiry to make sure that what is going on.
Sir, the Muslims around the world are treated very critically, especially after 9/11 and after the formation of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. What do you think the innocent people are treated this way? Isn't it the violation of human rights, or what else we can do to make things better?
I mean, I know that there are people in Pakistan, or not only in Pakistan, people who are concerned by the rise of Islamophobia around the world, which obviously is something that everybody has to fight. I mean, it's very clear from the EU side that we don't link, you know, terrorism activities with any religion. And that should be we should fight against this kind of people who are trying to promote that, to make the link between religion and terrorism. There is no doubt on that, and we are fighting that. And in the EU, if there are cases of Islamophobia, it happens, I mean, we have clear legal processes in place to make sure that any people who will do this kind of activities or this kind of crime, I would say, will be prosecuted. No question otherwise.
So, Excellency, how do you see the CPEC in Pakistan? It's Pakistan-China relation and this development.
I mean, if I listen to the government of Pakistan, I think CPEC is probably the best things which has happened to Pakistan for many years, and I think it's indeed a positive development to see China deciding to invest so heavily here in Pakistan, and I think it will help in terms of connectivity from China, from Pakistan to the rest of the world. So I think there is no doubt on that. I want also to see how it will help also Pakistan in terms of its own development. I think that is the most important for Pakistan, to make sure that not only it will help Pakistan to deal with its current energy crisis, which I think it's on the way to be solved. I think we have seen improvement on that, which is good as well, but also that it will help Pakistan its own economic development. So, I mean, my point is that it should not be only a corridor. A corridor, it will be, you know, meaning that goods from China will pass by Pakistan and then go to the EU and to the US. It's not enough for Pakistan, obviously. It should be a corridor with, you know, side doors to make sure that, you know, the doors are open and then development takes place here in your country, in Pakistan. I know that the government is working on that the different provinces of Pakistan, which will benefit from CPEC, also are working on that. I think it needs a lot of work, a lot of thinking about how to make sure that these large infrastructures which are going to be built in Pakistan will be well plugged with the different economic centers of Pakistan, how to set up new economic centers, new economic zones, how are you going to bring into these zones, you know, investment not only for China but from the rest of the world as well. How are you going to attract European investors, for example, in this kind of economic zones? What about skill developments? Because you will need also, you know, the skilled workforce to man, these new economic zones or new industries in economic zones. So there is a lot of work to do. I know that your government and provincial governments are working on that, which is good.
Do you satisfy with the products Pakistan has been exporting to the EU country? Secondly, I would like to ask you that though the GSP plus status is very good for both for EU and Pakistan, still there are a number of people who have been facing some issues with EU country concerning their visas, and even the students are facing the same problem as well.
Okay, so a couple of questions there. I mean, on GSP Plus itself, I think you should better ask actually probably the Commerce Minister if he's satisfied with GSP Plus. But if I look at the data, obviously, we have seen an increase, actually a big jump by 38% of exports from the EU, from Pakistan to the EU since 2014 compared to 2016. So 38% is a big jump in terms of export. Unfortunately, if we look closer at the data, what we have seen is actually your export have been diverted from other markets to go to the EU because there is this comparative advantage with GSP Plus. But globally, as you know, the export from Pakistan is not doing so well. I mean, it is actually dropping for the last 2 years. So there is a lot of work to do, and we are ready as EU, to work with Pakistan how to counter that, how we can even better use, GSP Plus to make the global export of Pakistan increasing. And we have been discussing with the private sector here. We are discussing with the Commerce Ministry as well. I mean, we feel that for the time being, Pakistan is not fully using the potential of GSP Plus. We have seen that it's mostly the large companies on the usual sectors such as textile, leather, footwear, exporting to the EU. But there is a potential there which is untapped, for medium enterprises, new sectors. I mean, so it's an opportunity that Pakistan should not miss. So I think as I said, we are ready to work with Pakistan on that. Other issue is you were referring to is the issue of visa to the EU, and especially for the students. We, with the EU and also the member states, we have a number of scholarship schemes, which are some of them very generous. If I take the one from the EU, which is called Erasmus Plus, it provides, very generous scholarships for the bright students actually to go to the EU to study at different levels in higher education. It also does provide actually support for academic staff also to go to the EU. Time to time we do face, yes, problems with visa. I mean, students face problems. But it's I want to be very clear on that. If I look at the data again, it's really, a couple of cases, not more than that, compared to the thousands of students from Pakistan going to the EU countries. So we are talking about, a very small number of cases where some visas have been refused, yes. But it's very, again, I can give you more precise data, but it's really a couple of cases, not more than that.
So explicitly talking about the GSP Plus status, EU is still raising, rather I should say, their reservation about capital punishment. Do you still satisfy with the Pakistan capital punishment, or there are some other,
If the question if I'm satisfied with capital punishment, the reply is very clearly no. It's a question of principle from the EU side. We are by principle against the death penalty. And if we are against the death penalty, it's because experiences around the world show that actually it does not work. It is not a deterrent for criminal activities. When it comes to Pakistan on GSP Plus, let's be clear about that. There is a link between GSP Plus and the death penalty, but in the frame of one of the 27 conventions I was referring to before, which is the ICCPR, the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. But what the convention says, convention does not say that you should ban death penalty. No, the convention says that it should be restricted to the most extreme cases, the most serious crimes, and it should be also the result of a due process. So what we are saying to Pakistan under GSP Plus again is, okay, you have decided to lift the moratorium on death penalty. If you apply death penalty in some cases, make sure that it is only for the most serious crimes and it is the result of a due process.
This is what Pakistan is claiming.
It's what we are saying to Pakistan under GSP Plus dialogue, I would say. But we have another dialogue with Pakistan on political level, which is to say we would like very much Pakistan to reinstate the moratorium because as EU, again, we feel that by principle you should not apply the death penalty. But there are two different issues.
Sir, what do you think the new policies coming from EU for Pakistan to enhance the bilateral relations and trade, and of course the working of EU-Pakistan engagement plan and MIP?
I mean, we are just ending this year the 5-year engagement plan 2012-2017, EU and Pakistan. It was the first engagement plan we have had with Pakistan, and we are from both sides actually satisfied, I think, with the plan. We have seen how it has helped actually us in terms of our relationship to be more mature, to build more confidence between the EU and Pakistan with the EU.
Would you like to mention some projects you are dealing with Pakistan?
I think for us, I mean, maybe I will get back to the strategic engagement plan. I think what we have seen now over the last 5 years is how we can also open new fields of cooperation with Pakistan. I was mentioning before, how we can work together on the issue of counter-terrorism. That is one which I think we are going to continue to work with Pakistan. There is the field of energy that has been unexplored between the EU and Pakistan so far. I mean, the EU is leading on renewable energy. We have, cutting-edge companies working on renewable energy. And I think there is a great potential here in Pakistan in terms of energy. We see that for the time being, the energy mix in Pakistan, because you are facing this current energy crisis, is much more to go for a short term, I would say, fix with new power plant, with coal power plant, something like that. But obviously, we hope that on the mid-term, long-term, Pakistan will also drive or drift towards more renewable energy into its energy mix. And I think that it's a big field of cooperation for the EU on Pakistan. There is a whole field of education and vocational training I was referring to. We are already involved into that, but it's something that we will also like to increase with Pakistan because you have a very young population. Unfortunately, you still have a number of kids not going to school. I mean, 20 to 22 million kids not going to school in Pakistan. Something that obviously the government is trying to tackle, especially the provincial governments. And we are ready, to continue working on that with Pakistan. Issue of gender issues, the issue of women in Pakistan as well. I mean, we see how you have a great potential with women in Pakistan, which are probably not fully utilized yet. I mean, so there is an issue there. We have, for the time being, for example, very interesting programs in Sindh, in Balochistan, in KP, working with rural community, and especially in Sindh, working with rural women, and we have seen how this program actually have transformed the life not only of the women but of the whole communities there. So it's something also we would like to continue to develop with Pakistan.
This is EU Ambassador to Pakistan who agreed to develop a strong and effective relationship with Pakistan. He is also providing programs to Pakistan, including programs for Balochistan and Sindh, and also providing scholarships to our brilliant students.